camera is being really, really finicky with things. So we'll see how long it will last here. But we've gotten into some favorites now. I just did a favorite series. So I'm going to do a favorite horror book. I'm not the biggest fan when it comes to scary stuff. But a book that would count as horror and I have read multiple times, Dracula by Bram Stoker. I can't pronounce anyone's name. Don't at me. This book, though, I have reread so many times, even though it is scary and unsettling. Well, not like scary, but like very unsettling, especially the first like 20 chapters when we're just in Jonathan's diary. It's a bit of a, not scary. What was the word I just used? It's a bit of a scary book at times, so I'm gonna pick that one for my favorite horror. And then we've got, let's see, a favorite science fiction book. Also not the biggest fan of science fiction and space, but the closest one I have would be The Martian by Andy Weir. Weir? I just call them by their first names. Can I just say people's names by their first names? Anyways, I'd count this as science. Well, it's not really fiction, is it? It's just kind of sciencey in space. It is literally the only book I have that takes place in space or near space or anything remotely space related. So I'm gonna have to go with this, The Martian. It's a good book. Favorite fantasy book. I want to do Ella Enchanted again for that, but I won't. I don't know, actually, I like all my fantasies. I've got the Harry Potter series, really like those. I have the Lord of the Rings series. It's probably my favorite out of all of them, actually, is the Lord of the Rings. I've got the Narnia series. I don't really have too many more than that at the moment. Comes and goes, my favorite fantasies, but favorite mystery. Ooh. So I'll pull one of her books out because I love her books. But like my favorite mystery author, especially at the moment, would be Agatha Christie. Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. I love the Sherlock Holmes stories. Don't get me wrong. I just don't know if I could pick one of them. But I have the whole collection and I don't know. It's complicated. But I really like Agatha Christie's books. And out of the 4 that I have, ooh, which one's been my favorite? You know what? Probably this one. I really enjoyed reading this one. And then there was None by Agatha Christie. Really, really enjoyed this. Super fun. If you ever want to read some mystery books and get duped by the author, read some of her stuff. Again, do really like the Sherlock Holmes stories too, but I don't think it quite fits the question. So, a favorite biography. Out of all the biographies or autobiographies I have on my shelf, I think out of the ones I have, because none of the ones up there really count, I think it would be this one. It's very old and tattered. I didn't tatter it. This is a first store find, I believe. But this one is, you can't read it, but it's the God's Smuggler by Brother Andrew. And we're actually rereading it at the moment in my family. Love this book. Love his story. Love what he did. It is so cool, so fascinating, and it's a really good book, a really good read. Let's say, ooh, a book with a good fictional father, preferably father. We'll go father figure if I have to, but I want one with a good father. I think I'll go up there, but let me check real quick. Let's see, no father in that book, no father in that book, no father in that book. You know, that one has a pretty good father. The Jane Austens have pretty good fathers too, but I won't pick those. Okay, so I'm torn between 2 books for this one. Because I could either go Harry Potter and do Arthur Weasley, Ron Weasley's father. I think he's a really cool dad. Or I could do To Kill a Mockingbird. I really liked the father in this one, Atticus, I think his name was. But But yeah, I really liked the father in this book. So I actually think, to keep it from being cliche with my answers, I think I'll pick this one, To Kill a Mockingbird. I really liked the father, the lawyer guy in this book. It was really good, so we'll pick that one. A book with a cool villain, Dracula. A book that got you into reading. This is kind of a fun one because, as I've probably alluded to, I have siblings who are more of a reader or as much of a reader as I am. And my older sister specifically, I've actually asked her this before, if there was a book that really got her into reading, and surprisingly she didn't have one. Some other book readers that I know personally, I've asked and they also don't, which is very fascinating to me because I do. I remember as a kid, the book, and I have it, the book that got me into reading. It was a book I had to read for school, a storybook I had to read for school. And it's so tattered. All Things, Even Frisky. It's an A. Becca reader. But it's a novel. It's a full kid story. I had to read it. I could not tell you how old I was. 7 and 8, somewhere in there. I had to read it for school, and I got so caught up in the story. I read it in like 2 days, and it was supposed to be like my month read for school. But I remember getting so caught up in the story, so excited to know what happened, and just absolutely loving books afterwards and reading after this one. So it amuses me that the other avid book readers I know don't. Avid, I'm thinking of 2 specifically, but I do. I have this book, and it is the reason I absolutely love reading. Ooh. I think this one is on the list twice somehow, but a book that ended up being more fun than you thought it would be. And I've got a specific one. Well, I got a couple, but I've done them already. Both The Book Thief and The Martian, my siblings had to like tie me down to make me read them. But the one I'm going to do, because I haven't done it yet, is The Hunt for the Red October. The Hunt for Red October. It's a Tom Clancy book. It's the Tom Clancy book. There goes the camera again. This book, when it's like pitched, it does not sound like a book I would enjoy, but I've read it a couple times now, and I really, really enjoy this book. I don't know why, because there's so much technical stuff in it that I don't really care about, but it's a good book, and it's a good read, and I really, really like this one. So, author you've read the most books from. That's a good question. I don't know. It depends on how you would count that. Because I've read a decent amount of like the Nancy Drews. I know they're not all written by the same author, but like a good chunk of they're in chunks that they are. I've read a lot of Sherlock Holmes. That's all written by the same person. And of course the Harry Potter and the Narnia books, they're all written by the same person. I might could go Narnia actually, because I have read other books from C.S. Lewis that aren't the Narnia books. I've read a handful of some of his other works, not a lot. Actually, I want to read some more. So maybe I'll go with him because I've read a lot of his books. And at the moment, I haven't read a lot of Agatha Christie's. And I haven't read a lot of like Lee Childs. I've only read a handful of them, even though there's a ton in the series. So maybe I'll go C.S. Lewis because I have read books outside of the Narnia books by him. So we'll go with that as my answer. Drink of choice while reading. Usually water. Where did it go? Usually water. Occasionally I'll do tea, but most of the time when I'm reading, it's like when I'm in between other things. So I don't actually I don't make a big ritual out of it, I think is what I'm trying to say. So usually it's just water, and that's just usually because that's what I have on me in general. So, important moment in your reading life. Actually, The Record, because it opened my world to a lot of the action books that I've been enjoying recently. Kinds of books you won't read. This one's kind of a tricky one to dive into. I'm not the biggest fan of horror or scary, though I have read Dracula, I've read quite a few of the classic horrors. Dracula, Frankenstein, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, a handful of those. And I do want to try some point in my life as Stephen King, but I have no plans at the moment to, because his books are way too big. But in general, I'm not really a scary or a horror book person. Don't really care for those. And then the other one would be, well, there's a couple ones that are on that where it's like I tote the line with. I love romances. I'm really into them at the moment, but I do not read anything remotely spicy, anything remotely... If it's more than a PG rating, I don't read the books. I don't like those books. And I'm not the biggest into sci-fi either, but I have read a ton of Star Trek books. And which I would have pulled for my sci-fi, but I don't have any physical copies of them. But I do like Star Trek books, but I don't really read a ton of sci-fi. So, got a handful of books on that one. Biggest book? Probably my Harry Potter. I don't know. All right, so my biggest book is a little bit hard to judge. Probably one of the obvious ones would be my Strong Concordance, but it's up there and I'm not pulling it down because it's a hassle to pull down sometimes. As a joke, my biggest book could arguably be this one. It is the collection of Jane Austen's, but it's very hard to read. I have it solely as decoration. It's like the only book I have that I have solely as a decorational piece. It's gigantic, but I actually don't think it has that many pages either. No, it doesn't. Okay, so it has roughly as many pages as the biggest Harry Potter book does, which is funny to me. So that one's biggest by like mass. I actually think it might be bigger than or like taller than the Strong Concordance. Now, when it comes to bigger by like pages, because I don't know how to judge, is either my collection of Lord of the Rings or the complete Sherlock Holmes collection that I have. Both are over 1,000 pages. I think this one is bigger by like 20 pages. This one was 1090. This one's 1070. So, but it's hard to judge because this one's actually, well, arguably technically it's 3 books in one. Arguably it's actually 6 books in one. And then this one, same thing. Arguably it's like 3 or 4 books in one. But, so I don't know. I don't know how you want to count it. If you put them like side by side, the Sherlock Holmes is definitely on the bigger side, I guess. But this one's like fatter. So I don't know how you judge it, which one's bigger. But one of these two. Either the Lord of the Rings or the Sherlock Holmes. I don't know which one it is. Unapologetic fangirl for. The Jane Austens. Out of the 4 books I've read of Jane Austen, I don't know which one's my favorite. I was going to say which one's my favorite, but I don't know which one's my favorite. It's either Northanger Abbey or Pride and Prejudice, and I don't know which one I like better. So, a book you didn't expect much from, but was pleasantly surprised. And this one kind of comes close to the ones that like I was forced to read. But I wasn't forced to read this one, but I wasn't expecting a lot, and I was pleasantly surprised by it. A Fish in a Tree. Who wrote this? By Linda Molley Hunt. I don't know how to say her name at all. I read this earlier this year, and I actually read it in like a week because I did get caught up in the story. This book, I could do a whole just talk video that has to do with this book, the concept of this book, the point to this, and my beliefs in children, children and family. And I might do a just talk on that. Loyal sidekick you can't help but love more than their counterpart. I'm gonna do it's a series, but I only have like 3 books. It's a lot like Nancy Drew, and there's a ton of books by different authors. But the Accidental Detectives. I don't remember his... Mike? Maybe it's Mike. Yeah, I think it's Mike. The main star in this is Richard, or Rich, I believe. Yeah, Ricky. Sorry. Ricky Kidd. He's the main star in this book, but he has 2 counterparts. I want to say Amanda, or maybe it was Lisa. Lisa and Mike. Mike in this is very funny. He's like the goofball sidekick, and I really, really like him in these series. So I've got like 3 books in them. But the Accidental Detectives, I really like the side characters, both Lisa and Mike, I think their names are. And then the last one, and this is last because it's going to take me a moment to think about it. A fictional character you would love to have over for dinner. That's a tough one. Cause like if you just like off the bat, most of the characters, but if I really stop and thought about it, like, could I hold a conversation with this person? And would I enjoy dinner or not with this person? Even then though, I think most of these characters, probably the main characters from the Jane Austens, I wouldn't have a problem with. They might make me feel a little bit uncultured. Pollyanna, I would absolutely love to have dinner with. I would have a ball with that. A Little Princess, Sarah Crew, I would love to have dinner with. Anne of Green Gables, maybe. I don't know about that. The main stars from The Accidental Detectives. I could probably do Nancy Drew. I don't know how well. I don't know if she would grate on my nerves at some point or not. Would not want to go to dinner with Sherlock Holmes. Don't think that'd be a good idea. Most of the action books, same thing. Like Jack Reacher or Jack Ryan or anyone from like the Clive Cusslers. I think they're cool people, but I don't think I would enjoy dinner with them. I think it'd be very unsettling. Oh, wait. Oh, I forgot I have these. This is cheating, but this is who I pick. I've got some Superman comics. I pick Superman. Superman is who I want to go have dinner with. Because you know what? I bet I could get along with him and I would be able to talk with him and keep a conversation. And I wouldn't feel uncomfortable or like, I mean, I would be intimidated, but not like super intimidated. So I'm going to pick Superman for my final answer. That's who I'm going to go with. I hope you enjoyed this. I enjoyed it. I love talking about the books and the stories that I personally love and personally enjoy. Again, if you wanted to play along and put some of your answers to these questions down in the comments, I would absolutely love to hear from you and hear your takes on different books, different series, different stories. And I'll see you in the next video.